Doing some After Effects business today, streaming. Gonna finish up this clip from a Donkey Kong Country Reanimate biz. So I better announce it to the world. Come join me on Twitch as I do the post work on my Donkey Kong Country Reanimate scene. First, Donkey Kong Country Reanimate scene. That's what we want. How's the volume going? That's good. Looks good. There's not going to be any desktop audio because After Effects doesn't have any audio, so bam. Alright, and there's my stream. How's the volume running on there? Cool. Alright, nice. I can get to work. Beautiful. Beautiful. If anyone joins me, lovely. If not, well, I'm making progress. Now. Why have I got my headphones? Usually I got my headphones on, so I don't have this cable stretched over my body, but today... Wait, that's weird that they are in the shot. That's weird. That is weird. Okay, I know I'm going to need this 4K vintage dirt. Is there any other effects in here I need? Don't think so. No, that'll be good. That'll be good. Okay, let's go back into here. Animation. Animate. Why are they showing up in the actual animation? Why don't I have Animate open is a better question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be finishing this scene off, and then I'm going to be going and doing some chores. We got spiders like all along the that bit of, you got the ceiling and you got the wall, and then there's that like bit that connects the two. There's like little spiders, everywhere. So I got to vacuum up all of those while my parents are out, which is why it's nice and quiet in here actually, and why the internet's running a little bit better because there's no one else here. So I'm going to get that. I'm going to get this section done. Then I'm going to do that and have me some nice salad lunch. And then to celebrate the completion of this shot, I'm going to play through Donkey Kong Country. I look fast? What does that mean? What does you look fast mean? Hello. Once I am done, yeah, I'm going to play through Donkey Kong Country in its entirety. So yeah, one sitting, Donkey Kong Country in one sitting to celebrate. So yay. I looked first. Oh, I get you. Is it because my beard's longer now? It's weird that Paul's still in Canada, but I'm not. It's kind of weird to think about. Okay, now that, whoops, that's not what I want. I want After Effects. That should have updated. It didn't. Oh, well, that's fine. I don't need it to update. I checked out the Ocarina of Time streams. That's something I want to do in the future, is stream all of the 3D Zeldas like in a row. Oh, it's because I have hair now. Yeah. I don't know. Half people tell me I look better bald. Like my sister thinks I look better bald, and then half people, mostly older people, think I look better with hair. So I don't know. Kelly's going to be here in a week, and she'll be here for 3 weeks. So based on what she thinks about my hair, I might make a decision. We'll see. But yeah, I did check out some of the Ocarina of Time stuff. Although I checked it out post. I checked it out in post. And yeah, I'll probably redo all of the 3D, all them 3D Zeldas. It'll be very very enlightening for everybody. Cranky is too big and needs to be rested. I don't want him too big in the frame. Needs to be more, I think, over here. I gotta work out how I'm gonna make him more ghosty looking. Rebranding myself, I want to do some more storytelling reviews instead of Let's Play, so I've been streaming the footage I need to get, and then I'll upload streams to my old channel. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing too with all of the streams I'm doing for just the old Gurkha Man channel. I'm just letting it all go up there afterwards. I'll do thumbnails afterwards, but I don't know if I'd call what I'm doing storytelling reviews. I'm gonna fluctuate between games I'm very familiar with and just playing through them for fun, and then really highly regarded titles that I know I'm going to complain about. Like, I want to do The Last of Us because I have a feeling I'm not going to enjoy it very much because I hate this whole walking thing. It's like I've been playing the old God of War games, and I enjoy there's just stupid, dumb action and loud, angry man. But now the new God of War is supposed to be the best thing ever, and it looks like it achieved that status by sucking literally all the fun out of it. So I'll be doing a little bit of both, and I'm hoping that when I can actually do my stream myself developing Shooty the Catfish on here too. I think streaming myself doing game development will be pretty interesting. Actually, streaming After Effects here is interesting, because I'm always getting people asking me about what I use it for, and now people can actually see what I use it for, which is something that even I'm still not entirely sure about. Yeah, so Cranky needs to be a comp. Streaming in glorious 360p. Amazing. Yeah, that's cool. Cranky Shot 1. It's been ages since I've done this sort of thing, so I'm gonna have to work out how to get the look I want. When I was doing the Kulapari, I like remembered all this stuff off the top of my head. Now I'm like, what? How do I get the glow to work? How do I do this, that, or this other thing? Glow. How do I make Cranky look like a ghost? Glow radius. That's that. Cool. Glow threshold. Hey, okay, that's what that does. Glow intensity. Alright. Alright, that's kind of simple. Tell the story of the game instead of review the game. Can't say it's really been done before, so here's I hope it works out. Yeah, that would be awesome to see stream game development, especially if you post the link to the stream on the Tumblr page, or hell, even on the RPG Maker forums. Yeah, I guess I could get more active on Tumblr again. I've been kind of avoiding Tumblr because I was spending tons of time on there, and it was starting to make me feel a bit miserable for some reason. But yeah, Tumblr's a weird place. I haven't put anything on the RPG Maker forums because those communities are very, what's the word I'm thinking of? Weird. Okay, that's right. Edge color rough and oh, that's right. Because I was doing this on my yeah, that's right. This is how we do this. I use this effect on my little He-Man loop-to-loop. I forgot all about that. Evolution. I don't know. Set that to 6 maybe. Is that doing its thing? Yeah, that's the spice. That is the spice. Yeah, just like just like reviewing the narratives of the game. Tell the story of the game instead of review the game. Because the problem you're going to run into is most games have terrible stories. Even the Zelda game stories aren't particularly good. But I am interested to see how that plays out. Yeah, the whole game critique thing on YouTube now, like I was really getting into a lot of those in-depth game mechanics discussions, and I still like that sort of stuff, but there's just like so much of just talk about games now. It used to be everyone was trying to be the angry video game nerd. Now everyone's trying to be Mark Brown or Joseph Anderson, and it's just like, just everyone please do your own thing. Like, either be funny, if you're gonna be funny in your own way, which I guess was it Nakey Jakey does. I like his videos because no one else does anything like what he does, and I still follow a lot of those other game design guys. But there's just like so much just copycat stuff, and so much of it felt distinct at the beginning, and now it's all just like, oh, this all feels the same. Okay, so if I disable the red and I go back to, yeah. In the original shot, he's got like this weird blue hue to him. I don't know if I want to put that on. I guess I could photo filter. Put that on top and set it to cooling filter. Because he's going to be set to what? Soft light? No, that's not. That's too soft. Overlay? Nah. Screen maybe. Oh, he's got to be relatively still visible. This is where I spent ages just fucking around with different settings. Like, what's gonna look the best? Maybe I'll just turn his opacity down to like 75 or something. Yeah, it's kind of ghosty. Ghosts. I'm afraid no ghosts. There's got to be something more I can do to this to make it. Ooh, crank up the. Yeah. More complex is good. And maybe if I. No, scaling upward. Whoa, it's getting really windy out there now. I'll probably have to run outside and get the clothes off the line. Hi, Sam. Welcome to the club. Welcome to Club Donkey Kong. I can make him sound interesting. Generic as fuck. Like bosses like him in Record be hell easy to do. Listen to the twist and yeah, Majora's Mask. Yeah, well, Majora's Mask story is actually interesting. That makes sense. You know what would be cool is like tying in how those popular game stories. Sorry, Scabby. I apologize. It'd be cool seeing how those like stories that everybody loves from video games and stuff, how they tie into like world mythology and that sort of thing. That's something I haven't seen done because all this stuff is sourced from. Obviously, there's a lot of Tolkien-esque stuff in Zelda, but you know they swapped out the dwarves for Gorons. They basically just changed the way the things looked. The Zoras are elves and all that sort of stuff, which I wish more stuff would do. Zelda's the only game I can think of that really does that. But yeah, seeing how the real world I know it's Ahsoka and a lot of that stuff's based on real world history, right? Or at least some of the battles and stuff are not directly tied to, but inspired by. And because I know the Ahsoka games have a lot of politics and stuff in them too, which was very specific to that era. And yeah, Zelda's connection to world mythology and stuff. I don't know. I think that stuff would be interesting. But. That deep Zelda lol. What's this stretch do? Oh, no. We don't want that. Scale. Oh, that does that. Okay. And that makes it all like that. Fractal influence. What's that? Okay, that seems cool. Edge sharpness. Oh! Ooh! I'm still always learning new things in this program. I'm just annoyed that how do I make it like bigger? Is it the glow radius? Yeah, okay. Crew is marching on the barrel works. I bet he is, Crankster. Oh, whoops, I should probably disable the red solid background behind him. Oops! Maybe that is a little bit too much opacity. Let's try 85. Not enough opacity. I want it to be transparent, but not too transparent. Cool. Right. Now, so that's good. I like that. Now, I'm going to show you a magic trick. This is a little technique that was taught to me by, I think it was Scott. I'm going to do some very light programming. Refresh disabled, finish editing. Oh, okay. Type in random and I don't know, 3, 8 or something like that. And what this expression will do. Uh-oh, do I need a space? Oh no, I've forgotten how to do this. I'm gonna have to relook up how to do it. After Effects. See, it's been a while. Random expression. I used to use this trick all the time. It's a motion script. That looks right, code-wise. Did I spell random correctly? I did. What's your beef? What's your problem with it? Line 0 property position of layer null in comp. Special result must be dimension 2, not 1. What the hell does that mean? Right. Well, fine then. I'll get rid of you, you stupid null. I'll see if it works just directly on here. Random 6, 7. Oh wait, no, I want wiggle. That's what I wanted. Yeah, that's what I was after. Okay, let's tone that down. I knew I was on the right track. I was just using the wrong thing. Okay, so that's that, and that's that. Yeah, now he's hovering around like a ghosty ghost. Good on you, Cranky. Yeah, you tell him. I reckon he needs more cool filters. I'm going to duplicate it. There. Oh, that's too many. Yeah. You hover like the ghost of the crankiest man that you were. Maybe once I finish all the games in a series, or at least all the ones I'm doing videos of, I could do like a real. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Okay, so Second was based on a book. I didn't know that. That's a lot of Zelda games to play through. I got I am looking forward to playing through Twilight Princess HD now that I have that. How many times have I bought that game? I think, yeah, you've still got the GameCube copy I bought. So I've got that to play through now. So I'm looking forward to streaming. Oh, I'm sorry, Cranky. You look all wonky now, buddy. How subtle is that? Yeah. Maybe. No, that's a bit much. Okay, so that number looks better bigger, did it? A little bit. Weird. After Effects is just a matter of throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. There we are. Now he's a proper ghost. Oy, Ghost Cranky. That looks weird as. How about 10? That's a bit more subtle. Yeah, that's more like it. Now if I use a fractal on top of that, that should look kind of neat, I think. When I'm doing them all, Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wicked, never finished Twilight Princess, remember. Oh, well, you've owned it for years now. I thought you might have in your own time managed to beat it. Fair, yeah, I don't know. I still like Twilight Princess a lot. I've been playing through Darksiders 2. I really like the first Darksiders. It only had 4 temples in it. And now Darksiders 2, I think there's like 22 temples or dungeons in it. And it's just like, because I enjoyed Breath of the Wild a lot. I kind of wish you just found the spirit orbs in the overworld instead of doing the shrine puzzles to get them. I wish you could have just, they could have incorporated those shrine puzzles like into the outdoor environments to get the stuff, so they weren't disconnected. I'm playing it on the Wii U too, so like the load times when you go into the dungeons and come back out take fucking forever. But yeah, playing Darksiders 2, and now I'm just kind of going back. Now I'm playing that, I'm like, oh god, I wish Breath of the Wild still had these sort of like dungeony temples. It does so many other things like really well, and then that one thing's enough to make me just like, oh, it came so close to being perfect. Not that I blame other people for loving the game as much as they do. I think it's definitely worthy of a lot of the praise it's gotten. but I don't think it's quite as perfect as a lot of people seem to have been making it out to be. It's really good, but it does have problems. I wish it had like more in the way of memorable characters. Like Majora's Mask is full of these really wonderful, unforgettable characters, and I'm kind of sad that Breath of the Wild, like a lot of the NPCs were just kind of there. They had some of them had a little bit of personality, but I don't know. I feel like more could have been done. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm digging that. That looks like a ghosty effect, doesn't it? It might be a little bit excessive, actually. What's it at? 10%. What's it like at 5? That should be more subtle. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I dig it. I like Ghost Cranky. I dig it. Now, for round 2 Cranky, who will be here. Well, no, he won't be there. He'll be. Yeah. Cranky shot 02. I'm going to turn on that. Oh, why do I do that? Why is one in all caps and the other not? I don't know, I make some weird choices sometimes when it comes to labeling stuff. That looks like there's some red in there when there shouldn't be. What? Down on his feet? Or maybe it's just an optical illusion. Fractal noise on the top. It's weird the evolutions never carry over. I don't know why that is. 5. What setting did it have in here? Overlay. Overlay. Yeah, there is. There's white around his stick when there shouldn't be. Something to do. Oh my god. Oh, cool. Look at that. Whoa, that's neat. Don't know how that works, but it's cool. I need to take that red and put it behind there because I can't see what is going on. Okay, that's a problem with what? Is it the glow? Oh, it's the evolution on here. I don't know. 3. 3 is a good number. Oh yeah, 3 is a good number. And the opacity is what, 50. So now should just be able to grab all this shit. And of course the evolution will be broken again. That's okay. 3 is good. Come on, Cranky, take it to the fridge. Peanuts, walnuts, pineapple shells. Pineapple smells. Grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah. I'm announcing this now. People can hold me to it. I'm going to do a 103% playthrough of Donkey Kong 64 on stream at some point, or progressively over a long period. People have been requesting it for a long time, mainly because everyone hates me, and so it is something that's going to happen in the future. I wonder if I could. No, a drop shadow would look awful. I couldn't put a drop shadow on there. You'd lose the ghost effect. Or can I? What if I put it on this layer? Oh, Oh yeah, now he pops out a little bit more. I'm surprised that worked as well as it did. What a happy accident. I thought someone disappeared, but they didn't. That's good. That's what I want. I don't want people disappearing. Cool. Alright, Cranky is in. We're in the Cranky zone. Highway to the... Okay, so now that Cranky's in there, this is not going to take as long as I thought it would. So it's going to not be a really long stream, I guess. Not that I mind. That just gives me more time to do my Donkey Kong Country. Oh, that's what's missing here, the opacity. What's this set to? It's 85, 85. Yeah, there we go. Now it's got some opacity happening. Great. Now, next up is Diday, the diddiest of Kongs. Where are you, Didster? There you are. Diddlywinks, you sit over here. You get your little drop shadow happening. Wow, putting Diddy in sure was a lot of work. Oh, the wiggle's missing. That's what it was. I need to put the wiggle. What's the wiggle on here? 2-8. Wiggle. 2-8. Whoops. Yeah, Cranky, you do that wibbly wobbling. That's the spice. Cooking with fire here. The greatest of fires. Okay, next was Dixie, who's going to be a little bit trickier because Dixie is in 2 distinct chunks, so I have to make sure I move them at the same time. They are both going to require drop shadows, which might look weird when she flips around. Don't know yet. A little bit. Now, the reason I had to break Dixie into 2 chunks was so... out of the way. So I could put a mask around the hair. The problem with the big hair was that it was clipping into the background. I don't think it comes over here, but just to be pedantic, just being careful. This is all going over your head, Scabby. You know, to be honest, when I had originally... Oh, you... Suck. Okay. Alright, okay, Scabby. Here's the thing, right? I put a drop shadow on Dixie's hair here, right? And I wanted it to smoothly transition behind this log, which doesn't make logical sense. If this was a physical thing that you built, the drop shadow would not cut off along here where her arm is. But because I put a mask around it, it is cutting off there. And I wasn't expecting that. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to turn this into a composition. I'm going to call it Dixie Back. Drop shadow is going to disappear from the outside of it, and I'm going to put it on the inside. And because now it's on the inside, when I go in and put the mask around it, like I'm about to do now, da, 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 da. Do, do, do. Do, do, do. Now, because it's in a composition, you can see there is no longer a drop shadow underneath where the hair is, which is a nice little easy fix for that issue. And that's basically the compositing of the characters into the shot is now finished. So that's phase 1 of what I'm doing here in post. Phase 2 is I'm going to digitally age this because my aesthetic tends to have a really old look. My art style and my character designs and stuff are largely inspired by really old cartoons, particularly old British ones. And when they were running on TV here, you might be too young, Scabby. I don't know. I know you know because I know you didn't know what Charlie Chalk was. I mentioned it the other day. But a lot of what that old BBC animation that was on the ABC, it had a lot of it was never cleaned up, so there was still a lot of film dirt and that sort of stuff to it. And so that's like a big part of my aesthetic. So basically, I'm going to do some magic now to age the film. So I'm going to grab all of it. It's all highlighted, and I'm just going to do a composition and just call it scenes. And I'm going to duplicate it onto itself, which seems like a bit of a weird thing to do. I'm also going to tick this little thing here which rasterizes it because all the assets I'm using are vector. Vector assets, basically, I'm sure you're aware, they scale because it's the same with SVGs and SVG when you're doing web development and that sort of thing. The vector assets that I paint with for animation are exactly the same as SVGs for web development. Just kind of weird to think about, really. Okay, cranky shot's done. What am I doing? That's all vector, so that's fine. Dixie's hair is rasterized. These are all rasterized. Yep, so everything's all rasterized now inside the shot, which is good. So that rasterizing it basically just means I can zoom in and it'll stay sharp, which will seem kind of like a really ironic, weird thing to do, because in a moment I'm going to deliberately blur it. But stay with me here. This is all important stuff. I swear. I feel like maybe they should be sitting closer together. Maybe a tiny bit closer together. Come here, Dixie. How's that? No, because now the mask is moved. Nah, it's fine as it was. I'm thinking into it too hard. So now that I've got this on top, you can see I've duplicated the scene twice. I'm going to put a Gaussian blur over the top of it and set it to about, I don't know, about 30. That looks completely like garbage, but that's okay. I'm just going to turn the opacity down to about 25. And that gives it like a softness, like that a film stock might give it, like a slight sense of blurriness. Maybe even 30 is too much. Maybe only 15 is all I really need. Maybe 25. You can see if I zoom in and set it to full quality, you get like a little bit of a very subtle haze around the outside of the line work. Anyway, that's because old film stocks were a bit like that as the film aged. So now that I've got those two elements in there, I'm going to put them to. Actually, the other thing I do sometimes is set this to like overlay. That strengthens the colors a bit. It's a bit rich. Soft light. Maybe multiply. Nah, that's too dark. Overlay. Crank it back up to 50. I can't even see what it's doing now. It's too subtle. Maybe if I set to like 50%. Yeah, so you can see now when you crank it up a little bit, you get this like ghosting around here, which is a little bit too much. Oh yeah, that little bit of a glow there's pretty subtle. I can get behind that. That's a little bit more like what I was looking for. Right, so now that I've done that, that's great. So I'm going to put these two shots now that I have the blur on there together and create one shot out of that. And so that's going to be just scene, I don't know, comp, why not? Which also has to be set to rasterize. Now, earlier on I put in that wiggle expression. Expressions are basically just like a After Effects form of code. A lot of people use them to program particle effects and stuff. I mainly just use this one a lot, wiggle. I want it to be really subtle. Wiggle 2, 3, and what that will do is it will. I'm going to set this to 3rd quality because now the machine's starting to chug a little bit, trying to preview it. Come on, boy. What this should do is make it look like the footage is kind of moving around a little bit, which gives a look of like old film stock when it's going through a film machine. Yeah, so you can see there's a slight wiggle to it. Now, because there's a slight wiggle to it, it's actually going off the edges of the screen. So the reason I wanted to set it to rasterize is so I could set it to about 103%, or 102% even. Maybe 101. And by doing that, it means I could blow it up a tiny amount. It's not going to lose any video quality, but the edges aren't going to, you know, become exposed as it's moving around. That's actually something that happened in Kulpari in a couple of shots. The shots weren't zoomed in on, so as the camera was moving around, bits of the background actually showed in the actual, like where the background's cutoffs were actually showed up in the process. Okay, so now I've got this little wiggle happening, which looks weird because it doesn't look like film yet, and that's where the final step comes in, which is my 4K little overlay I have here, which isn't actually 4K, it's only 720p because I don't have the full 4K version of it. And I'm going to set that to screen. And now, all of a sudden, there's a degree, gives it that old film look. So now it's aged a little bit. Could probably still be aged a little bit more. So what I'll probably do on top of that is I'll desaturate it a bit. Where's my saturation controls? I could apply the saturation directly to the scene, but instead I'm going to create an adjustment layer, and I'll do it on that. Master saturation, let's say minus 25 or minus 50 even. I used to do a lot of my work like really colorful, and people used to complain about how colorful my stuff was, which to be fair, the colors didn't always actually go together particularly well, so it's understandable. So I've started like toning things down a little bit, but yeah, the aesthetic of my work is my work looks old, so here is some, yeah, there it is. There's the shot. I think that's a little bit too excessive. I think minus 75 is the sweet spot for it. Whoa, no, minus 25. Sorry, I'm going the wrong way. Minus 25 for color, I think is a sweet spot. Yeah, that's good. So there we have it. There is my Donkey Kong Country Returns. Not Donkey Kong Country Returns, my Donkey Kong Country Reanimated shot, pretty much done in After Effects. I'm going to render this out now, put the sound back in, put it on YouTube, and send it off for approval by the guy running the show. So that didn't take all that long at all, really. Not as long as I thought it might. So thank you for joining me on this stream. I'm going to go and finish my chores and have some lunch. I'm going to come back. I'm going to play through Donkey Kong Country in its entirety, one sitting. It's going to be very exciting. So I hope you do join me to that, because of course what better way to celebrate finishing this Donkey Kong animation than playing Donkey Kong Country. I know what I'm doing. So I'll see you. I'll be back in like an hour and a bit to stream. So thanks for joining me on this adventure. This is all up on my YouTube channel, my Game Over Go Command YouTube channel. And yeah, thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace out.